All right, guys, we are recording. It is January 15th, and we are so excited to be with you guys tonight for our 20 and 30 call. I know we started to get momentum going, and then New Year's kickoff happened. And even though we planned for it, we planned for this in December. How many of you raise your hand if you got a little off track with your 20 and 30 because of New Year's kickoff? Anyone besides me? All right, I see some heads nodding too. No matter what, even with all the planning in the world, when you have an event like that, it's going to happen. And I can tell you, this is me and my personality. I am so easily
Sounds
distracted.
big.
Honestly, I think I might have.
Okay.
Let me
Oh, you can hear me?
mute all the lines here. Speakers, you're just going to have to unmute yourself when it's time for you to help me. I am so easily distracted. So when I'm at a conference, I have to really focus in on my training. I sit there. I mean, I have my phone handy because sometimes I need to be, texting someone or something, but I am not someone that is on my phone all the time during conference, on Facebook, scrolling Facebook, posting. You don't even see me post a whole lot during conferences because I am so focused in on what I'm doing. So my 20 and 30, I'm going to be honest, it slid for the last few days. So I've been busy and back on track today playing catch up. So if any of you are feeling like, oh my gosh, it's January 15th, I'm trying to enroll 20 people this month and I've enrolled one, or I've enrolled none, or I've only enrolled 2 or 3, or whatever you're feeling, I want to start the call off by saying, you're not alone. I don't know of anyone who is completed it, or I don't know of anyone who is completely on track with the amount of people they should have enrolled by now. So please don't feel discouraged at all. Just know we've got 15 days. I mean, we've got the rest of the month now. And honestly, the further we get into January, more and more people are ready to start something new. So please, instead of being discouraged, I want you to be encouraged that the last 2 weeks, these are going to be our strongest weeks for enrolling, because we did our planning and preparing in December. We started our connecting and contacting the beginning of January. So we're going to be following up and closing for the rest of the month. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So I want to make sure that you are all mentally in a great place as you finish this month, because we want you to finish strong. And with Eric Worre's training, which we are completely teaching you guys from his training, from his workbook, just to reiterate what he talked about in his training that, Polly, Val, and Susan and I did, was basically it was 2 weeks of preparation, and then he let you go for 30 days. So he didn't continue to train us for 30 days. We decided to do it this way because we wanted you guys to have the accountability of getting on weekly calls, being able to share your victories, asking us questions if you're having any struggles, if you're having a setback, how can we help you? So we wanted to be able to do that. So we've been stretching it out a little bit longer, but I wanted you to understand, that's why we're doing what we're doing. So we're going to be talking tonight about following up and closing a little bit more. We still have motivation and accountability that we're going to be covering with you next week. And each week, we really want to be hearing from you if you have questions. So after I post the recording from this call, and after, at the end of the call, if you have any questions that we didn't get answered tonight, something that you're struggling with, we're going to want you guys to comment below this recording, because Valerie Gerber is going to go live tomorrow and answer any questions. So keep that in mind. If we do not answer something of yours tonight, you're going to have an opportunity to ask it under the recording of this in the group, and then she will take care of you guys tomorrow. So let me think. All right, so that is basically what I wanted to start the call with. I'm going to ask Susan to start off and unmute herself. And I want Susan to share with you guys some of the things she does and things that she says as she's following up with people and then going for that close, because that's the important part. A lot of people are afraid to ask for the close. And I'm saying it that way to you guys. Obviously, that's not the way we approach it with our clients. We're very soft with it. We're not like a hard close. But we want you to hear a couple different ways to do it, give you some ideas, just to try to help you, because this is something, we talked about objections last week. I think a lot of people are afraid to ask for the close, the commitment part, because they're afraid of the objection. So Susan, there you are. I see you. If you could start off and share a little bit about how you follow up and close. And I love your story that you shared with us today when we were finalizing preparations for tonight's call. So share that story as well.
Sure. Thank you, Cindy. I'm right next to you on my screen. So
I don't know how that works, but
Yeah,
you look
you're not on mine. You're way down at the bottom
in
middle. So,
the bottom corner. Okay, no worries. Well, I think, like Cindy just said, we talk about, we're afraid of the objections, but what I really think we're afraid of when we're going to the close is rejection. We don't want someone to say no. And it was kind of funny. I'm going to tell a little story first. So I was on the plane, and this was probably the least I slept all the way down and all the way back, because I thought, gee, I'm going to be at New Year's kickoff, and I can't, I can't engage or connect with anyone there, right? Everyone's already in Isagenix, so I'm going to have to work my magic on the plane. And I made some really, really great connections on the way down. But on the way back, this man sat next to me, and he had a cool story. He's older, and he just started in November, and so he thought he would go to check it out. And so he went to New Year's kickoff, only being sort of 2 months into it and wondering if he even wants to do the business. So I thought it was cool, and he's like almost 60 years old, so it was kind of a cool story. But as we were talking, as I do when I'm flying, I chew gum, keeps my ears open, and I offered him a piece of gum, and he said, put it away, and we got talking, whatever. And then he was picking my brain, and we were asking, about what I did with my business, and he thought I seemed very successful, so he was asking me questions, and he was afraid of rejection. And I said to him, you have to think about this as a piece of gum. And I train my team like this all the time. And so many of you might have heard me say this already, but it's worth repeating. I said to him, when I offered you that piece of gum before and you said no, I just put it away. I was unfazed by it. Mm-hmm. And I think that when someone says no to our shakes, we take it personally. And if you're feeling that way and you're afraid of the close, it's just gum, guys. It's just gum. It's a piece of gum. Somebody doesn't want it. On to the next. It doesn't matter. They're not rejecting you. He just did not want to chew a piece of gum, right? And I didn't come home and tell my husband, red suspenders. I offered this guy a piece of gum on the plane, and he said no. And I'm never going to be able to fly again. So I want you to think of it like that, okay? So when we go into the close, I have some notes here. All right, well, we're following up now, right? Connected with a lot of people. We've, add them to our list. We're connecting. We're meeting with them. And you might be closing on the very first time that you follow up with them. So make sure you're following up with them. If you're putting people in HHP, then do a search, put their name in. Now you've got to keep notes. I have tons of notebooks, but I am constantly taking notes. You can put it on your list, your candidate list. You have a name, their email, phone number. How do I know them? In comments. In the comments, I put the date that I messaged them or talked to them, so you've got to keep good notes when you're following up with people, because if you don't, you're going to forget about them. Shiny object, you're on to the next person. And, you might have someone in HHP. I love to do this. I will have a prospect, and if I put them in HHP and they haven't gotten started yet, I will search them in HHP, and I see where they're commenting, what they're commenting on. And that's really a good thing, because a lot of times when you put them in there and you're not connected with them yourself, they're asking other people questions. So when I go in there, and this happens to every one of us, even if it's a day or two goes by that you haven't connected with them, something might be going on in HHP. And that's a great way to say, hey, I noticed you were asking about the cleanse in HHP. Can we get on, I'd like to explain a little more to you, answer more questions. And don't just do it in HHP. That's kind of a safe place for people to to ask something, sort of to, because it's safer with all the strangers in there, because they're not the ones trying to enroll them, right? So they feel comfortable, but of course we can just search their name and see what's going on. So following up is huge. Taking notes, asking questions, let's see, keep dates, keep people informed of anything that's coming up. So if you have a long list like I do, hundreds of people, there might be old people on there, old or contacts, not old like me old, but you know what I mean. So those people, you want to keep following up and saying, hey, the mint shake is back. We have some new products. Whatever it may be, something that they may have been seeing in HHP, but they're still marinating in there. So have a reason to get back with them. Invite them to a Facebook Live event. Ask questions, and then go to their personal page if you've met them on Facebook or their Facebook friends, because following up some of the things, if you get back onto their page, you may see, I don't know, something happened. Maybe they had a baby, you didn't realize it. Now they need to lose some weight, or something could be happening. So follow up, follow up. If someone's on your list, keep checking in to see what they're doing. So, and then also, I like to always say, ask permission to follow up. Because if I'm sending messages to people and I'm following up and I'm saying, we have a new shake, or, and they're not really engaging with me, I like to say, hey, I know you were interested at one time. Is it okay if, when there are specials, that I call you and let you know? Because I don't want to bother you, but if you're interested, I'd love to keep you informed, and when you're ready, you're ready. So that's all part of following up. Of course, that's the big picture. We're being, we're really diving in right now because we want to get people started in this next 30 days. So my closing, all right? My closing is, I get right to the punchline, all right? I ask. So, when you're afraid to jump in the water because it's cold and you dip in your toe and you sit there and you whine, you complain, and you think up excuses, just ask, okay? Like jumping into cold water, just get into it. So when I had a gal last night, and so she was a referral, but I actually ended up enrolling her for the referral because I want the referral to become a consultant. But she was sort of hesitant. I've got this girl, I think she's interested. She seemed excited about my results. Tell me a little bit about her. So when I got on the phone with her last night, I just went into it really confident, and I was tired. I had traveled all day. I hadn't seen my family, and I just wanted to, shoot straight to the punchline, and just said, hi, Katie, I talked to Patsy, and she said you were really excited about her Isagenix results, and she told me you'd love to get started.
And then you're quiet.
I am. I said, great. I said, do you have any questions for me? And she had very few questions. And she said that Patsy had given her something that was thick and not really wonderful, but you drink it in the morning. I said, oh, Ionic Supreme, it's one of our best products, and you can do different things. I'm not going to go through the scripting. We have the PK Smith scripting. We have the Eden Slobin scripting. So if you're using your scripting, I got the feeling from her. I asked her a couple questions, what her results were, or what she was hoping her results would be, what she was kind of looking for. And I could tell that she was, really shopping price, but I went through the script and gave her all the prices. And when she said, and I just asked her, when I got to the Pace Setter, the premium pack, that's what she said, I think that's really what I want to go for. She said, I really don't take vitamins right now, and I just sort of want to get my feet wet, but the 30-day system, there's not enough in it. So she went for that. And I said, well, I would recommend the premium pack. That sounds like where you need to go. And so she said, sure, what do I need to do? Give you my credit card? She hadn't asked for flavors or anything like that. I said, well, let me find out, what you'd like. And when I'm closing, I don't go into a lot of detail. I don't ask if they want powder or liquid. I go with what, because they don't know the difference. So I say, I would recommend this. I would recommend that. And that's what I go by. And you know what? When you use the word recommend, they don't know anything. So whatever you recommend is typically what they're going to go for. So are you ready to get started? Sometimes when people aren't, they might not, you might answer a few questions for them. Don't go into more information. They've been, if you think that they've been in HHP or you sent them a video, don't start going on. Just you get to the close and you say, gee, I know I sent you this video. Do you think you have enough information to get started? Great. Can I make a recommendation? Can I read you this script? So just ask. Go for it. Yeah. You'll be surprised. I honestly, I get out my order form ready. I have their name on it as soon as they get on the phone.
That's a mindset trick, and I do the same thing because I'm fully expecting the enrollment. And every once in a blue moon, if I don't get it, I can white it out. But I just expect the enrollment, put their name on, and that's a really great mindset tip. Someone just asked, Susan, do you recommend using the new auto configuration? And we did talk about that at Celebration. There is now a new button, and most people, I can't remember what the percentage was. I don't know if Polly, if you guys remember that, but most people pick the same exact things on the that are auto configured. So you can click on that, and if there is a mild change on flavor of shakes or something, you can adjust it there. But I think it's great. I'm going to start using it.
Well, I did use it because I just got her enrolled, so I clicked on it because you can edit that, and it was pretty much everything she wanted, except she wanted 2 vanilla shakes instead of 2 chocolate. I think it was 2 chocolate, 1 vanilla, 1 strawberry, which is typical. The bars were the chocolate peanut crunch. That's recommended. The Ice Delights were the sea salt caramel. She wanted the berry snacks. The recommended was chocolate. And the Whey Thins were the cheddar ones, and she wanted the sour cream and chive. But the Ionix is liquid, the Cleanse is liquid, the eShot is the original flavor. And so I did it just to see. But I think, for me, I had to think about it. It was a little quicker. So I don't know, but I think it's a great option to have. But I pretty much go with what I know is popular, and that seemed to be right. So I don't give them, I don't go through every single bar. Like when I'm recommending, do you like chocolate or do you prefer, a flavor like lemon or oatmeal or something like that? And if they say, oh, I'm chocolate, then I might say, well, our chocolate peanut crunch is the most popular, or I love the chocolate decadence.
Yeah, make the recommendations. And
yeah, you definitely have to, because you want to close, you want that call to go quick, you want to just be on the ball, and you want to get that in and just be done with it. So
awesome. All right, and Polly's we're gonna shift gears slightly. We're still gonna be talking about following up, but oftentimes Susan's gal was ready to go last night. First to call, she was ready to go, and that does happen. If you send people videos, if they've marinated in HHP, that can very well happen. First call, they're ready. But Polly, what if they're not ready? What if they just aren't ready to let you fill in their address and the rest of your enrollment form? Then what do you do?
All right. So we all have those people, right, who aren't ready the moment we talk to them. The
Right.
dream ones are the other ones. I think Tiffany, I don't know if Tiffany Color's on here, but she had one of those on the airplane yesterday.
A
So
dream one?
a dream one, yes.
Oh, good.
Into fitness. I'm excited to start. Okay, so I have 4 things here if you're taking notes and you want to follow along. So the first one, the first thing that I always do, if I have somebody that I kind of go through what Susan goes through and they still keep saying, no, I'm not ready, or I'm not really sure this is for me, I always make sure I plan my next follow-up with them right then. I don't either get off the phone or get off whatever communication from face-to-face with them until I say to them, okay, well, if I called you next Friday, would that be enough time for you to think a little bit more? Or if I called you at 4:00 on Tuesday, could you maybe have some questions for me? Mostly I use that for people who just they seem a little bit rushed and they just want to kind of not talk anymore. I always plan a follow-up with them before I stop talking to them, always. The second thing is I always say to people, and I don't remember if this was PK or who this was, but if money and resources were not an obstacle, would you start? If they say that they would not start, then I know that they don't really see the value in the products. So then I ask them more questions and I say, well, why wouldn't you? What about the program do you think? I mean, if money were not an issue or whatever their objection is, why wouldn't you start? So I ask them more questions so that I can get to the bottom of why they don't see value in it and how I can help them with that. If they say yes, they would start if money was not an issue, then I would say, okay, well, let's make a plan. Let's either talk about your grocery bill. Let's talk about maybe you want to start next month, and let's talk about how you can put money away every week to be able to afford the pack next month. But I never leave them without a plan, either letting them know what the value is or a plan for how they can afford it either now or sometime in the near future. So the third thing is, since when you're first talking to them, you find out their goal and you find out why they want to do this, what their why is for this. You need to ask them if they say they're not ready, or they say, no, I don't think this is for me, or I think this is too expensive, and you went through all the money thing, then you need to say to them, so how important is that goal to you? Or do you have something that is upcoming that you really would like to reach that goal by? So if you have a wedding coming up, or if you have a goal of running a 5K, do you have a 5K in mind? And ask them to look through some 5Ks and find one they want to do. And then you'll call them back when they find that 5K, and you can kind of plan backwards when they want to start, and work with them with their goals. Have them write down. One time I did with somebody, I knew what their goal was. They said they weren't ready. I said, I'll tell you what, how about if I get back in touch with you in 2 weeks? We had the date, we had the time. And I said, in between now and then, write down why that goal is important to you. Talk to your family about your goal. Try to get some people on board with you, because I can tell this is really important to you. And I'll call you back and we'll see if we can come up with a plan for you to be able to start this, because it would really help you towards your goal. So work towards that emotional connection with them. But it's really important, I think, sometimes for people to let them have the time to talk to their family, not for permission, but more to get them on board with them, because then they'll feel more comfortable. I think that some people are surprised when they go to their family. Like for me, my husband is very frugal. And when I first wanted to start this, I was afraid he was going to say, it's way too much money. And I took the time and asked him about it. And he said, you said you were going to be yourself by the time you turned 40, and now you're on your way to 50. So you should do it now. And he was all on board. And that shocked me. So I think if you ask people to talk to their family, they might be surprised. The fourth thing, and this is mostly for people who I can tell are just trying to brush me off. Even though I get a goal from them, because usually I don't talk to people unless they have a goal. I mean, people don't contact me or me contact them unless they do have a goal. So I'll say to them, look, I don't want to take up too much of your time or my time if you're not ready, because I can tell you're not ready right now. So do you think there might be a time when you might be ready to work towards this goal? Do you think there might be a time that we can set up in the future that we could figure out how you could reach that goal? Because I can tell it's really important to you. And I keep coming back to that it's really important to them, that this is something that they really told me is important to them. I get a date and time and I say to them, okay, between now and that time, what else do you think you might need to know to start? And I'll do some researching and find some things out for you if I don't know it, or I'll get somebody on a 3-way call with us. But let's make sure we talk in the future. But right now I can tell you're not ready, so let's pick another time. And that I do kind of quickly. If you read all the things on following up with people, your time is valuable. So if they aren't ready and truly aren't ready, pick another time to meet with them and move on to the next person that might be ready. Don't kind of hang out there and try to convince them and push them into it, because that won't work. And a couple of just extra things I just wanted to reinforce. I know we said it last week, but make sure you're making it about them. Don't come into this saying, you know, I really want you to do this. Say, you told me you wanted to do this. Don't say, I want you to do this. Remind them of the 30-day money-back guarantee. I mean, that is a fantastic thing. They can try it out. And if they ask for samples, they can have samples, a whole 30-day pack worth of them. And if they don't like them, they can send them back. Sending a handwritten note, you have to know know your audience. But if you talk to somebody and you had a really nice conversation, and they really opened up with you about their goals, but they're not quite ready yet, the next day, just kind of jot a handwritten note and just say, I really enjoyed talking to you, and I can't wait to help you with that goal when you're ready to get started. That goes a long way. Mm-hmm. And make sure you ask them what you need to know, and then continue touching them. A lot of things that, like Susan was saying, if you see something in HHP and they're in there that was part of their goal or part of something they wanted, tag them in it and just say, hey, I just thought of you when I saw this, or send them a Facebook message with some health thing that you saw on Facebook and share it with them and say, oh, I know we talked about this and this seemed really important to you, so I just wanted to share it with you. Every once in a while, keep touching them. And I think that's it. And not too much with that, though. I think that some people wonder how much. You have to know the person, but if they said no and they did not give you a date, don't send them something that you're thinking about them every single day.
Right.
That's a little too much.
I don't want to go too overboard, for sure.
Yes.
People ask me that a lot, and they'll ask me too, how many times do I follow up with someone? And my answer to that is I just continually follow up with people. Not every day. I don't want to hound them, but I let them know I'm thinking of them. And then when there's a promotion or a special, I'll reach back out. Like Susan was saying earlier, finding a reason to connect with them. But yes, like Polly said, that's so important. Always bring them back to their why. Why did they want to talk to you to begin with? Why did they comment on your post? Why did they reach out to you and send you a message? Bring them back to their why, and eventually they will be ready. Not everybody's ready at once, and don't be discouraged if you get a no, not now. That doesn't mean a no, not ever. Very rarely does someone say to me, no, I'm never, ever going to do this. Take me off your list. Very rarely. Once.
And if you're just starting, I had a lot of people just want to jump in when they saw that I felt better. But and I didn't know it until now, I had a lot of people that were just watching me, and they wanted to see if I was still doing this a year from when I started or 2 years from when I started. And then they're saying to me, you're still doing this and you still feel fantastic. I think I'm ready. So they are watching you. So don't. Yeah.
So they want to know that you're having results. If you've lost weight, they want to know that you've maintained your results. They're watching you. If you're not having results, it's not going to attract a ton of people to you. Polly had a great transformation, and she's maintained that weight loss for, so long now. So people that were watching her saw she got it off, she kept it off, and they're attracted to that, and they know she can help them. So keep that in mind. If you're still in your transformation, keep sharing. Every 5 pounds you lose is a huge thing. And I see Jen Gardner on here. I'll point her out. She shared her whole journey with her audience. People have watched her lose over 120 pounds now. Every time she shares her story, people are watching. They're not seeing her gain 20 back, gain 30 back, gain 50 back. They're not seeing that. So they know that she's consistent. She's a product of the product. She's had great results. If she can do this, they can do this, and they'll go to her for help. So,
and I wish I'd shared from the beginning like Jen did. I wish that I didn't share until I'd already lost 60 pounds. So I wish I had started sharing. Don't discount, like, I didn't lose any weight this week, but man, my energy is fantastic. Share that, because people really do watch. They want to see everything.
Absolutely. All right. So a couple of things to wrap this up. We're going to continually, for the rest of this duration, add people to the list. So we want to make sure you guys are still in the habit of every day getting out there, meeting new people, getting to meetup groups, networking groups. I went to one last week, and I came home with a stack of brand new business cards of people I'm contacting and emailing and Facebook friend requesting. So a whole bunch of new contacts. So be sure that you are adding new people to to your list, keeping that list fresh. Be sure you're in, the massive mode of presentations. This time right now, we're halfway through. We should be presenting an awful lot, whether it's on the phone, whether it's on a live Facebook event, whether it's on a virtual Zoom, inviting people to the corporate virtual Zooms, whether it's in-home presentations, whatever it is for you, coffee shop presentations. Just be sure that you are following up with everyone on that list and having as many presentations as possible so that you can get to the closing part, so that you can get to the finding out what their questions are, know what their objections are, and get to the closing part. So we're going to continually do this the next 2 weeks. A couple other things I want to make sure you're aware of is now that we're back from our conference, the 90-day game plan is in effect. We're going to start as a team on Monday, and I don't want you guys to feel like this is going to be a distraction out of the 90-day game or out of the 20 and for 30. This is going to be like perfect. You guys are already doing a 90-day game plan. You're in the first segment of the 90-day game plan. So it's not going to be, a lot of distraction for you. It's going to be basically, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing. We're going to have one weekly call that will be recorded. There will be an extra training for probably you to steer some of your newer people to help them get to manager. So watch for that. But I wanted you to be aware of that. So we're going to continually support you. And what's going to be super cool is when we wrap up this 20 and 30, the 90-day action plan will be going on. So you'll still have 2 more months to be working your business and keeping the momentum that you've been working so hard on this month. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. The other thing, I can't divulge for sure all of the details, but I have reached out to Kristen Landry from corporate. And for anyone that does achieve 20 and 30, there's going to be some prizes, good prizes. So stay tuned. And when I'm allowed to talk to you more about that, I will. But the January Jolt is in full effect. So all your work is going to pay off big time financially for you. We're hoping that many, many, many of you hit the 12 and get $1,000 out of this, not let alone the PIBs, the double PIBs, cycling and all of that on top of it. But boy, for those of you that hit 20, we really, really want to acknowledge you and recognize you as well. So have a great week. And ask any questions. I'll let you finish up here, Sue. Ask any questions below the recording and watch for Valerie Gerber's live tomorrow to answer all of your questions. Yes, Susan?
Okay. Well, I saw that Tina asked a question.
Thank you.
And I've got it right here in front of me. So
Yeah.
I'm going to read it. So if anyone doesn't get it, just when the recording goes up, just shoot to the end and you'll be able to find it and copy it down. So so I used her words and made my own. I said, hey, I was at the Litchfield car wash and I picked up your card. I'm self-employed and I love to work with other proactive women, or you could say successful entrepreneurs. I just wanted to reach out and introduce myself and see if there's time when we could grab a coffee or hop on the phone and learn more about each other's businesses and see how we could support each other. So you're not saying, oh, drink my shakes. You're just basically saying, hey, I want to connect with you. And it is about connections. And Cindy and I ran into some girls that were, that's kind of how it happened when we were talking to someone at Celebration. And there were a couple Rodan and Fields girls that she it wasn't Lauren, it was somebody else, connected with in that way. Like, how can we support each other in this business? And they were at conference, so they actually got started with her. So
Yeah.
You know when you start talking to someone, because anyone that's an entrepreneur is kind of got that open mind. So I love that. And then I just want to piggyback off of what you just said, Cindy, the 20 and 30 rolling into the 90-day game plan. If you're here and you're not afraid to say, I want to try to enroll 20 and 30 people, then I think you're serious about your business. And I think we should work all the time to get to this point. Don't look at January 31st and say, oh, thank God that's over and now I'm not going to do anything. We're rolling into the 90-day action plan. We've got a lot of different things planned out throughout the year, but stay in the momentum. It's just like going to the gym every day or getting up and going for a run every day. Keep adding to your list. Keep making connections, keep doing presentations. And, you know, if you're feeling discouraged, because I already see we have half the people we had on our first call, and if you're feeling that way, a little discouraged, I'm sure a lot of people think, well, you know what, I'm just going to pack it in because I couldn't get. Don't think that way. Think about, I did a video of live Facebook on my page today. This is progress, you guys. We're making progress. We're learning how to connect. We're sharing with each other. And if you don't hit the January Joe or the 20 and 30, of course that's our goal, but we're making progress. So continue on. Your 20 and 30 might be in July. Who knows?
That's
So
right.
keep at it.
Yep. Good point. Good point. And we're here to, you know, be accountability partners with you. We're in the same boat you are, doing the same thing you are, and, you know, we're in this together. So hopefully we will see a lot more people on the call next week, because we want to get everybody back in and back engaged. So if you guys see some of your friends missing, cheer them on. Tell them to get on live with us next week. We're going to talk about, what did I say? Motivation and accountability. We'll probably still be working on closing and objections too, because that's something I think we need to continually talk on. But have a great week, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for showing up. We really appreciate you guys for being here, and we really want to see you achieve your goals. So we'll see everybody.